In this section of word processing, we are going to be working on setting our tabs. Now, as you know, working in a word processor, we are encouraged to use one space between each word. In some cases, we may use two spaces after a punctuation mark, such as a full stop, an exclamation sign, or a question mark. However, there are times when you are going to be required to have some larger white spaces and you want your work to be aligned at a particular position for uniformity, for presentation, and for readability. So we are going to be setting up some tabs. Now, tabs are associated with our keyboard, the key on the keyboard known as the tab key. It allows us to perform this function. So, in order to set your tabs, from the Home tab, we are going to click this button that speaks to the paragraph settings. So here we go. So we click this little button here and it brings up the paragraph dialog box. And if we look at the bottom, we will see tabs. So we're going to select tabs. All right. Now the tabs dialog box is now available, and the tab stop position is where we would put our various tab stop settings that we want for our document. By default, our tab stops are set at 0.5. So each time you press the tab key on the keyboard, the insertion point moves by 0.5 of an inch. This can be adjusted, as you can see here. We have the up and the down arrow. We can clear tab stop positions if we have any in our document so that we go back to the default setting. But here are some tab stops that we can work with. We have left, meaning when we set a left alignment for the tab stop, the text, when we type, it extends to the right. The center, it extends both right and left. When we set one to the right, text that we type extends to the left. Decimal, what it does is it aligns your decimal points at the same location. So if you're working with decimal numbers, this one is ideal for using decimal. And then the bar simply gives you a vertical line between your text. The leader is what we will use sometimes when we are creating, for example, a program and you want the reader's eye to run across to see the item versus the name of the person. The leader is a good feature to use for that. So we're going to look at how we are going to use them. So for example, I am going to set a tab stop position at 2 inches. So I would type 2 inches in my tab stop position, and if we're using the inches, we use a double quotation marks to mark that. So here we go. So we have one. Now after you have inserted a tab stop position, you have to set it. So we are going to click on set. Once it is set, it appears in the tab stops section at the bottom. So here we go. Say for example, we're going to put one. We're going to use a center tab. So we're going to put a center tab at 4 inches. And we are going to set. We're going to click on OK. We're not going to overburden ourselves. So here we go. So this is my default starting at the margin. So when you set your tab stop positions, if your ruler is turned on, we are able to view the positions that are there. So here we have 2 set as a left tab. I had said that this should have been a center tab, but I actually have a left tab. So we are going to change that. So we go back to paragraph, select our tabs again. Now here our positions are still declared. So we click on this one because this is the one we want to adjust. So if I select the center, as I would have said before, now I would have chosen what I wanted. So now I can select set. So it is now, when I click on it, this one is left. When I click on this one, it is center. And I'm okay for that one. So let's see how it works. So when I click the tab key on the keyboard, it automatically flushes over to my 2. So this is my 2-inch tab stop, right? And when I tab, let me change this to 2. When I tab again, I now have a center tab. So if I type the word center, you can see how it aligns. It centers it as best as possible. All right, so let's add another line. All right, this is my second line. This is my second tab stop. And this is my second center tab. So you can see how the center works. It, as much as possible, places your text in the center. All right, so let us continue. So now we are going to make some adjustments. So we are going back to paragraph for our tabs sets, select tabs. And for this section, we are going to clear all. So I don't want the 2 that we had created before. So I'm going to clear all and we are going to do some more. So for this one, I am going to set a tab stop position at 2 inches again, but this time it's going to be a right tab, right? And I'm going to set 1. So I need to select set. I'm going to set 1 at 4. And this one is going to be a decimal tab. Okay, we'll work with that. And I'm going to set 1 at 5 inches. This one I'm going to use as a bar tab. I'm going to set it and OK. Now if we look on our ruler again, this one is now pointing to the left, meaning when I type there, my text will flush to the left. This one, all my points will align at 4. There's a point there, it's very small, but it's there, and this is the bar. So let's see how that works. All right, so this now is my, and you can see the bar on your page. So I'm going to press tab. This is my first, and you can see your text going to the right. My first right tab. And when I press tab for this, I'm going to enter some numbers. So for example, I'm going to put 200.56. Then I'm going to press tab for this one again. This is my bar tab, right? So what that does, I cannot go beyond there. So when I press enter, the bar continues down. Next one, second right tab. Next decimal place, 1950.2 tab, bar tab 2. All right. All right, so if you notice this bar tab where it is, it may not be the ideal place to have it, because what it does is it allows the bar to interfere with the information that I have. So it is up to you to determine where exactly you want the bar to go and the function that it is supposed to perform. All right, so next set of tabs. All right, so we're going to enter. We're going to go back to our tabs, paragraph tabs, and we're going to clear these. So we can say clear all. Okay. All right, so my bar has stopped extending. And if I go back to my tabs, now I'm going to set a dot leader. So my dot leader is going to extend across my page. Now, if you look at my ruler, I am working with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and a half is the width of the space in which I am working. So if I want to set a tab stop, I am going to set one that extends all the way over to 6.5, and that is going to be a right tab. And I'm going to just choose one of these dot leaders. I'm going to choose 2, and I'm going to set it. All right, so I only have one tab stop for this particular activity. So I'm going to click OK. So say, for example, I'm required to create a program for an event. And I want to say, okay, so this is the order of my program. So I'm going to have the introduction, or let me say, welcome and remarks. And I want to say who this person is going to be. So I'm going to click the tab, and these are what we call the dot leaders. It leads what comes before. So say, for example, this is student number 1. Then we're going to have an introduction. And I press the tab key. This is the, say, the chairperson. We're going to take an item here. And you would go through and complete your program accordingly. So that's it for setting your tabs. You can revisit, go back and forth to ensure that the formatting that you want is exactly what you get.